Alrighty, let's get started. So first of all, thank you so much to everyone joining us tonight for the top end tour next year in 2024. I can't believe we're talking about it already, but we're so excited to have so many familiar faces and names join us tonight. A few of you have come from either previous Outbacks or other top ends as well, so it's great to have you back. And firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to elders past and present. We are joined today as well by Jamie. She's our event manager, and my name is Chelsea, if I haven't introduced myself previously to you, or if you haven't met me before. So tonight we're just going to go through an overview of our great top end escape series and everything involved for the top end. I know it's a long awaited trip, so let's jump into it. Oh, if I want to go next, that would be great. Here we go. So for those that aren't familiar with Bicycle Network and who we are as an organisation, just a little bit of a background. We are a not-for-profit organisation that has a sole focus on getting more people to ride. You may have heard a little bit about us through our behaviour change programs like our Ride to School, Ride to Work, or most common our events, for example, like our Around the Bay that's coming up in a few weeks if you're joining us, as well as Great Vic, and then our Great Escape series, for an example, our top end that we're going to next year. So as a not-for-profit, we do earn our money through predominantly our events and our membership. So by purchasing a ticket to any of our events or signing up as a member, you are contributing directly to our advocacy in getting more people riding bikes, not only in Victoria, but nationally as well. If you are interested in, there's a whole different range of things that we do and how we get amongst the community. So if you'd like to learn more, you can visit our website for more information. But tonight, let's get into the fun stuff. So we're here to talk about our top end escape series. So yes, kicking off 29th of June next year, we are going to head on to an 8-day premium cycling experience. So sorry if I keep looking at the screen, I'm just admitting more people that come through. But we are traveling through, starting off in Darwin and heading through to Litchfield National Park, Nipmuc, as well as Katherine as well. So we're hitting all the top must-see regions in Northern Territory up the top end. And we're also going to go through a whole bunch of riding as well as many different various cultural experiences and really get to learn more and educate ourselves around the Indigenous space up there. A couple of questions came through in the lead up to this night is about the kind of accommodation series and what does that look like. We aren't camping. If you are common and used to our Great Vic events, this is premium accommodation, 3 to 4 stars. So it's all about focusing on the ride, and Bicycle Network, we take care of everything else from your travel and your accommodation. And just a reminder for those that are just joining, if you could please mute yourself, that would be much appreciated. So what's the difference between just traveling up to Darwin and the top end and doing the riding yourselves? Well, if you're new to Bicycle Network, you know that, we provide all the support. So like I said before, we are known for our world-class events in providing a fully supported route along the way. This is a photo of an example of our Outback series. So this is a rest stop out in Simpsons Gap, I believe. So you've got a bright blue Bicycle Network marquees. You can't miss us. We've got you supported with the rest stops, the snacks, pretty much all the meals, water, shade, mechanical assistance as well. Like I mentioned previously as well, our accommodation is anywhere from 3 to 4 stars. So you can be rest assured that after a big day on the bike, you can relax in your own comfort and in your own bed. We do take care of all the rider transport on event. So for example, there are some days that our departure might not be from our accommodation. It might be a little bit further down the route. So we'll take care care of that. We'll load you up alongside your bike as well, and drop you off at certain destinations, and that's where you'll start your riding. In saying that, in terms of the transport to event is at your own expense, but we'll run that through a little bit later. We do take care of all your luggage transfer as well during events, so you do not need to worry about lugging all, like whether it's a suitcase or backpack with you on the bike. The most important thing for us is for you riders is to really just enjoy being on the bike and taking in all the scenery and the cultural experiences you're going to experience on the trip. So yeah, we take care of all the operational stuff. All we want you to do and focus on is just having fun. And similar to our previous escape series, we do provide a free complimentary event jersey so you can look the part. And it's fantastic seeing across the region, just seeing a bright blue jersey from a mile away. And it's a good little memento to keep on to too. So a little bit more is about our personal support. So extended to our event support, we are about a team of 8 that come up and look after you lot. So our biggest thing is that we make sure that you're well supported, so then you can have the best time possible on the trip. So we are essentially your concierge team. Jamie and myself joined online here today. So any communication in the lead up to event, on event, after event, we are your go-to people. We want to make sure you feel supported like from the moment that you get off the plane. So we'll provide airport shuttle services from the airport to the accommodation in Darwin. And then based on demand as well, we might provide an extra day earlier as well, depending on flight availability. So just know that we've got your back in terms of that. Any questions though, please let us know. Also in the lead up as well, we'll have on event bike checks. So for example, if you have any mechanicals or you just need any advice, we do bring a mechanic on site with us. Troy, he's from Pedal Power Garage. He's fantastic and he's part of the family here at Bicycle Network. On event, we'll keep you well supported each night. Over dinner normally, we'll do daily event briefings. So we'll pretty much recap the day today, as well as we'll give out some highlights to look out for the day tomorrow. So another thing as well is the on-event assistance. We are pretty much, we end up being a family on event. We are there to help you at whatever time you need. So we are there on by call, as well as you'll see us walking around the place as well. So we do understand a lot of people do attend our escape series from all parts of Australia and sometimes overseas. So please, we do provide a personal service. So, and we do understand that some people have different personal situations. So there's no silly question. Feel free to just ask the question and then we'll do our best to support and cater your needs for the event. So the biggest part and the most important part is the riding. So across the 8 days, you're going to clock up a whopping 196 kilometers. If you did join our Outback adventure last year, this one's slightly a little bit less, purely just because of the terrain that we are heading through. Up in the top end, it tends to be a lot more humid. So we have tailored that and taken that into account when designing the route. So very similar on-road riding. There is a little bit of dirt as you enter and exit certain rest areas. So we do suggest bringing a bike with between 28 to 35 millimeter tires. And yeah, like it's not a lot of dirt, but it's just going in and out of rest stops. Pretty much the rest of it is all bitumen. In saying that, some things do pop up, but on event we'll be sure to let you know at the daily briefings. We base our average riding pace on 15 kilometers per hour. So that's a common question is coming to these events is thinking about, you know, am I fit enough? So yeah, just know that we do pace it all on 15 kilometers per hour. And also this tour is very much based on, you know, you want to be able to pull over where you can and really take in the scenery, take that photo opportunity. We take into account all the activities that you're going to experience during the trip as well. So it's very much a go at your own pace, but the lowest pace is 15 kilometers. And another thing as well to think about is just sitting comfortably on your bike for a few hours. So that's the best thing to think about. And we'll kind of work towards a little bit about what types of bikes are best to bring a little bit later. But a common question nowadays are about e-bikes. Just know any bike is welcome, including e-bikes. We have the facilities to charge them overnight. But yeah, if you're not sure about which bike to bring, yeah, it's whatever one you're most comfortable on, sitting on for a couple of hours. But yeah, those tire suggestions are the best ones to go through. So inclusions and ticket options. So top end escape starts off at $4,999 and then goes up to $6,299. So we have 3 different ticket options available. So starting off with the twin room, this is ideally for if you're traveling solo or traveling with a friend. You'll be able to share 2 separate, one room with 2 separate beds, whereas the double room, that is just 1 queen bed shared between ideally a partner or couple. Otherwise, if you do want your own luxury and your own space and you are traveling solo, you can book your own room for a little bit extra. There are limited spots. So with the single rooms, they do go very quickly. So we suggest you getting in quick if you're after that option. But just something to note, if you are traveling solo, we do have in the past had quite a number of people come solo, and it's a fantastic way to meet other people. So if you are joining tonight and you are solo and thinking about it, it is the perfect trip to do it. We, in terms of matching people, in terms of rooms for the twin room, we do base it based on gender and age. We'll do our best to match the right people up in the right rooms. But including in this price, most of your meals are all inclusive, including your breakfast, morning tea, lunch and dinner. There might be some days where it might be a catch your own lunch or dinner, but we will be sure to let you know when that is. Also included in your ticket price is the complimentary bike transport from Melbourne. So if you are local to Melbourne and you really want to take out the stress of transporting your bike, we do have an option where we can, you can opt in for our free bike transport straight from Melbourne, and then that goes up to Darwin. So all you have to do is worry about getting on the plane with your bags, and then you'll see your bike up there in Darwin. And like I mentioned at the start, flights are not included in this ticket price. So this is something to book yourself separately. So that's why we suggest getting in your tickets in quick, and then booking a flight pretty much any time from now. Normally a year out is pretty good in terms of prices, or just keep an eye out for the latest deals. So the different experiences on offer, here's a whole list of different experiences that we're going to see. Jamie is going to touch on day by day what we're going to see. There's a whole breakdown as well on our website, but there are some things that we will miss out on. But in saying that, it's still something that, you'll have the opportunity to see whether that's on the trip or at a later time. But yeah, this is just a quick snapshot of the various different things we're going to experience on the trip. So just for this next week only, we do have one promotion going. So that's where you can win a helicopter flight with us. So in the Nipmuc National Park, it's an amazing experience. Jamie will touch on it shortly, but just letting you know that if you do register between now and next Wednesday, the 27th, you'll automatically go into the draw for a free 10-minute helicopter experience. Now, for those that are joining that have already registered, you're automatically entered into that, so don't stress about that. We're going to have a whole various different timings available for the helicopter flight, so this is an add-on. We are going to run through it a little bit later, but just so you know, when you do go to purchase your ticket, the helicopter options won't be available just yet. Being a year out, we are still just finalising sometimes, so they'll come up a little bit later, but everyone will get an email about them as soon as they're available. So a little bit more about the bikes on event. So like I mentioned before, you get free bike transport from Melbourne. So this is ideally only catered for people that are local from Melbourne. like I mentioned before, you'd leave your bike with us 2 weeks prior to the event, and then we'll take it up. Same goes on the way back. You'll leave your bike up in Darwin with us, and that will be travelled back to Melbourne, and will be available to pick up 2 weeks after event. We'll send these dates out a little bit later in the year, but they are also on our website as a reminder. But yeah, this is a perfect opportunity if you just don't want to have to worry about the stress of transporting your bike by plane. But we do ask that if you are utilising our bike transport, that all bikes must be boxed or bagged for this. We do have a YouTube video on our website that shows you the perfect way to do it in the most efficient way. Otherwise, there's various different sources online through articles or different YouTube videos. But on the other end of the event, so once your bike is transported up or once you arrive with your bike from the airport, we will have a friendly team at the other end to help you assemble your bikes again, ready for our event. So you'll be joined by a mechanic, there Troy, as well as us team, but there's also plenty of different toolboxes. So if you're really confident in it, you can go ahead and reassemble your bike. But also if you're not familiar, you'll have the right people around you to help you so you're ready to go on day one. So just recapping e-bikes as well. So yeah, e-bikes are certainly a very popular option nowadays, and we are all for it. It doesn't matter what type of bike you have, you're more than welcome to bring it along. But just something we wanted to note is that with e-bikes, something to keep in mind, and if you're not familiar with a Bicycle Network event, we have a vehicle that follows the tail ride called the SAG. It stands for support and gear, and essentially if you can't continue on, or there's a mechanical that we just can't fix on the road, you will be picked up by our SAG, which tends to be just like a minivan, and we'll just load your bike up on the back. Now, the reason why we're just highlighting this is that e-bikes, they can be put on the SAG, but they are a lot heavier than your average bike. So we will ask, if you do bring an e-bike, just to keep in mind that if you do need to be SAG'd, we will be asking someone, it might be asking yourself to help us load your e-bike onto the SAG, just from a safety perspective. And yeah, charging wise, you can charge your batteries in your own rooms. And another thing is with flying, just to keep into account, is you cannot fly with a battery. So something that's just to consider in the lead up. So the best way that we suggest to go about it is, if you are based in Melbourne, utilising our free bike transport, as mentioned before. Otherwise, thinking a little bit ahead and potentially shipping your battery to Darwin, or hiring a battery from Darwin. There's a little bit of logistics behind it, but it's certainly possible. Otherwise, another option that you can do is that you can hire your own bike. So through Rent My Bike Australia, so whether that's an e-bike or just like a hybrid bike, road bike, you've got it all. We've partnered with them for the last previous years, and they're fantastic in supplying whatever bike you need. And yeah, it saves the stress of having to think about having a bike, or maybe you want to try out a different bike. It's a really great opportunity to do that. So we actually take their bikes up with us on our complimentary transport. So if you are thinking about trying an e-bike for the first time, that's a really good opportunity, because then we just transport it, and you don't have to worry about the battery side of things. But yeah, something to keep in mind with Rent My Bike, if you are thinking about hiring, this is booked separately through the registration page, but all the information is on our website about how to book directly with Rent My Bike. And then from here, we're going to go through actually the day-by-day breakdown of the trip. So I'm going to hand it over to Jamie, and she'll take it from here.
Thank you so much, Chelsea. I'll give you a break from all that talking you've been doing. We did just have a question come through the chat function. Rosa did ask about catering for intolerances and dietary. So the meal options we do have on event is what we call our stand or meat version of a meal, vegan, vegetarian and gluten-free, and all the variations of that we do cater for. However, as we are a smaller group on event, being 120 riders, we definitely can work with our caterers and our restaurants on making sure that you have a meal that is tailored to your intolerances and any allergies. So if you are worried about your diet, please send us an email and we will do that on behalf of you with our caterers. So now we get to talk about where we are heading. So day one, we'll arrive to Darwin. So if you haven't been to Darwin before, it's a beautiful location where it's just stunning weather, I feel like, all year round, or maybe just at least in the summer, at least when we are heading there, or the winter, I should say, sorry, the dry season. You can walk around at all times of the day, essentially, without a jumper on. It's just lovely. And I'm saying that from someone who is currently living in Ballarat, where it's cold and rainy almost all the time. So I cannot wait to visit Darwin again. So this arrival day will be very similar to those that did join us on the Outback in previous years. So you'll arrive that day, we'll pick you up from the airport, and it's about getting your bike sorted, getting acclimatized, settling into your hotel, getting your event pack off us, and then we'll head off for a welcome dinner at the Darwin Sailing Club. This is a very iconic location to have our first dinner. As you can see pictured there, it's a beautiful, beautiful sunset will be there for dinner. And it's just the most stunning colours, and I just couldn't get enough of them for the whole week that we were up in Darwin last time. So it's definitely something not to miss. If you can't find the perfect time to fly in that day, we just recommend arriving by 3 o'clock at the latest if you can, just so you've got enough time to get your bike sorted, get yourself sorted in your room, and then join us for a dinner. So day 2 is our first day of riding, and this is really a bit of a pick your adventure type of day. We do have a recommended route and time frame for you to follow that day. However, we also understand you're on holidays and you're here to see Darwin, and you know want to see what you want to see and really get the most out of that experience. So you will definitely either ride with us, or you can go a little rogue if you do wish. So the things we will be seeing is the Nightcliff Pool Precinct, the Wharf Precinct. There'll be a few museums and art galleries that we'll ride by as well. And then the day will also finish with dinner at the iconic Mindle Beach Market. So it's the markets are on every Sunday and Thursday night in the dry season. It's where hundreds of food trucks and market stalls come together by the Mindle Beach. So you walk through those markets, grab yourself some dinner for the night, and then the thing to do is you sit on the sand, watch the beautiful sunset, and then people clap when the sun sets. So it's just something to be a part of, and it's a really lovely community event to be a part of. And that riding is 38 kilometres, thanks Chelsea, and these are our stops along the way. So we will have our team at these stops at designated times, so you can leave your bike with us knowing that you're supported with water and food along the way. Your bike is also being watched. However, if you are someone who enjoys 4 hours in a gallery, or love reading every single bit in that war museum, then I do recommend packing a bike lock for this day. As I said, our team can only be out there for so many hours, and totally fine if you want to spend 4 hours at the museums, but just bring a bike lock and look after your bike that way. Darwin is a very rideable city. It's full of bike paths. It's definitely not busy with traffic, so it's definitely a bike friendly city, and you'll have no problems at all navigating your way around town. Day 3 is where we head out of the city and go towards into beautiful Litchfield National Park. So National Park is only about an hour drive out of Darwin, and it's just absolutely stunning. So we will leave Darwin in the morning, have breakfast at the hotel, and arrive at Wangi Falls, which is pictured there. So depending on the time of year, you can go swimming. However, I think we're usually there at that border time of the season where there may be a few crocodile friends in there. So we'll probably stay clear from that at the moment. But our riding will start from Wangi Falls. As we're there unloading your bikes, there is a short walk you can do to see a lookout from the top. As we start riding through this national park, you'll just see all the beautiful flora and fauna that is around you. And we make stops at the Bully Rock Pool, and we finish at Florence Falls. Florence Falls is very iconic. It's on all the top end travel, documentaries and images and things like that you will see. So if Chelsea, if you go to the next slide to show the riding for me. Perfect, thank you. So that is the 33 kilometres through the national park, stopping at all the must-see swimming holes and destinations along the way. We've also allowed plenty of time once we get to Florence Falls for you to have a swim, enjoy that iconic location before we head back to Darwin and have dinner at the Botanic Gardens. The next day, we drive from Darwin down to Katherine, where we'll get off on the turn off to Edith Falls, and we'll ride to Edith Falls. So along the way, again, we are on the border here of another beautiful national park called Nitmiluk. So again, there'll be plenty of wildlife to see on the side of the road. And as you're riding, you would just think about this oasis you're about to arrive at. And that's where we're going to spend our afternoon. So there's a natural swimming hole there, as you can see pictured, a very large one with multiple areas to go swimming and relaxing. You can relax on the rocks or the grass if you like, and there's a number of walks, or you can, simply we're going to have an afternoon of free time here as well. We'll also arrange a cultural tour to come down to this site. So we did this previously, which was really wonderful, where we had some Indigenous people come down and show the group about spear throwing and basket weaving and other aspects of their culture. And it was, a really highlight of the trip. So that will also be an option for that afternoon. And then at the end of the night, we'll have dinner at the Katherine Outback Experience, which is owned by Tom Curtin. So he is an Outback singer, songwriter, and also Outback, I forgot what you call them, but, works with all the animals and things like that. And he is an absolute star. He actually tours around Australia. We went to his show last year. He did a condensed version for us, and it was amazing. As you can see here, he sits on the horse, he sings, he plays while he's riding around. He's got his working dogs in part of the show as well. And we're honestly in so much awe, but also laughter as he's performing this show for us. So it's a really wonderful dinner experience for us all in the Outback. You will note, just on that day though as well, that the riding is short with 19 kilometres. And again, that is what Chelsea touched on earlier. It's just due to the humidity, the types of roads we can sort of access out there. But even though it's short, it will definitely be sweet, and you'll have plenty of time to enjoy the region that we're in. The next day was definitely a highlight for all our riders last year. So we're calling this our rest day, but it's really more of an adventure day, I guess, because we get to head out onto the Yellow Water Billabong cruise. This is a stunning billabong out in Kakadu National Park, and where we get to spot crocodiles, birds, and other natural wildlife. And it was honestly the favourite activity from the group last year. That's all they could talk about, and it was their favourite thing, and they recommend that everyone had to do this. We saw plenty of crocodiles, plenty of birds, and it was, just an amazing afternoon out on the boat. So that is included in your ticket for everyone to do. It is a full day tour. As to get to the Kakadu National Park, it is about 2.5 to 3 hour drive, because we are a bit slower, obviously, being in a coach. Everyone is welcome. It's included in your ticket. We'll get you to Kakadu National Park, and the tour is operated by Kakadu Tourism. So the professional tour guides taking us through that tour, talking us through the scenery and what we're looking at, which is just beautiful. The alternative, though, if being on a boat is just not your thing and you prefer a bit more of a swim and a relaxing time, we have got the option for the Magic Waterhole. However, I do have to say at the moment that is full. We only had very limited spots, and we do have a waiting list open at the moment. If you have missed out, we are working on increasing our capacity for this one, but everyone on our wait list will be first to know if more spots become available. But it is this, I guess, hidden oasis in the middle of the national park. Again, it's a full day tour because it does take a couple of hours to get out there and back. This will be operated by our team, so you'll have two of us take you out there. We'll have lunch for the day, take you for a swim, explore the national park there, and then go back to the hotel. So they're the optional activities there. And also, if neither of them are up your alley and you do just would prefer a day around Katherine, that is also an option. The next day, we get to ride through Nitmiluk National Park. So We will have free time in the morning, which is really great. And there's a number of optional activities you can do, or again, there's no pressure to do anything if you prefer. So I'll touch on those optional activities on the next slide. But the riding does begin from the hotel, and then we go through to Nitmiluk Gorge, which is also known as Catherine Gorge. Again, this day is a really wonderful day to keep an eye out for any native animals on the side of the road. And if you are a bit of a thrill seeker and would love to go see the gorge from above, we do have helicopter rides available to add on to your booking. And as Chelsea touched on, we just haven't got the exact times of those yet, but we promise the minute we do, we will let you all know when they are available for booking. And then the day does end with a cruise through the gorges, which takes about 2 hours, and it's absolutely stunning. I think this was actually my highlight of the trip. I hadn't seen a national park like this. You've got these soaring rock structures, canyon-like, just either side of you as you're going through, and it was just absolutely stunning. And then we'll finish with dinner at the visitor centre at Nitmiluk before coming home. Again, that is also a short day riding, but it honestly does show you the best parts of Nitmiluk and really allows the time and the space to really immerse yourself into that national park and really embrace it and enjoy it. So that free time that you have in the morning, there are 2 optional activities. So you can go on the Kata Kata Caves Nature Park tour. So that is an hour tour through the limestone caves. This is also run by a company called Nitmiluk Tours, but we will get you there for that tour time. So that is $35 per person. Same as the helicopters. This one we will email you when it is available for booking. Otherwise, if you're more up for a relaxing morning, you can go to the Catherine Hot Springs. So it is free entry, and we will run shuttles for you to and from the hotel. That's another option there for that one, and no need to book that one. Thanks, Charles. And that's just highlighting the type of riding for the day there. And as we touched on the helicopter ride, so that is $159 per person, that you can have 2 to 3 people in that helicopter. It is a 10-minute flight over the gorges. So it's really great if you want to, immerse yourself through the gorge via boat and then also see it from up above, and there's limited capacity on that one there. Day 7, this is our last day of riding, and it will just feel like it'll come by so quickly and no one will want to leave because they're obviously having an amazing time. So we do start the day with a drive from Catherine up to Berry Springs, which isn't too far out of Darwin. Berry Springs is a natural spring, and it's a really iconic place to go for a swim. So that's where we'll start our mid-morning. We'll go for a swim, have some lunch, get fueled up, and then we will start riding to Darwin. So the way we'll go is kind of the back way around the peninsula, as you can see here. Where that Waggat Beach picture is actually the bay. So we're actually going around the opposite way through that peninsula region there. We'll have a few rest stops, end at Waggat Beach, where we'll then jump on a ferry and get to go across to Darwin. So you get to go on that ferry with your bike, and then we'll see you on the other side, and we'll go to our final dinner at the Darwin Precinct Wharf. If anyone has been to Darwin before, you'll know it's probably the place where all the best restaurants are, and again, beautiful sunsets and just a really great, lively atmosphere in Darwin. And then the final day, day 8, is when we say goodbye. So this day we'll just have breakfast in the morning. We'll run some airport shuttles for you, and we'll sadly say farewell, but hopefully not goodbye, because, we love seeing you all on all our other events, and it's already so many familiar faces I can see on this already. So it's never farewell for long. So I've just seen a question come through on the chat. Will this presentation be available after the Zoom? Yes, it will. We will send out an email with any details and with a link to this as well, so you can rewatch if you've got any other questions.
And catch up on the first bit.
Oh, yes, or if you did join us late. Yes, exactly. Over to you, Charles.
Yep, and I think Carmen, you had another question in there. If we have chosen the extra night that is arriving the previous day, do you provide a pickup service? So we will have extra accommodation available for you, so pre and post the trip. So we often find some people, depending on flight availability, or if you want to extend your trip as well, it's great to have that extra day either side available for you. Depending on availability, if you are, say, staying at the same accommodation where the trip is starting from, you'll already be there, but we might be able to provide a shuttle from the airport to the accommodation the day prior, just depending how many people decide to take up on the offer. But if you are staying elsewhere at a different accommodation that's different to where we're staying in Darwin the first couple of nights, you will need to make your own way from that previous accommodation to our accommodation. Depending where you stay, there might be some shuttles around that you might be able to access as well.
Yeah, and just adding to that as well, Darwin Airport is only 15 minutes away from where we're staying, so it is super close. If you do need to catch another mode of transport, the airport does also have shuttle services available. But like Chelsea said, about 2 months out from the trip, sorry, I should probably say, we will collect all your flight details off you, and then collate that all together and share with you all the available shuttle times to cater for as many flights as possible.
So Carmen said, so if we have booked through us, we will be able to stay at the same hotel. Yes, correct. So we'll have the options in there in the registration page for you to book. So yeah, it'll be the same hotel, but if you choose to stay elsewhere, you'll have to book that separately. We'll take care of the bookings. Beautiful. Is there any other questions anyone had? They can feel free to unmute themselves, or they can pop the question in the chat. Up to you. It's either a good sign that we've covered everything, or it's too much information. No one else? No. What is an estimate of flight cost from Melbourne to that time of year? Oh, Jamie, do you remember last time you went, how much flights were?
It really does depend. It depends on, well, I will actually say this is school holidays during this time. So I do highly recommend, if you are knowing you're coming on the trip, book in early. As Chelsea said, the earlier you book, you will get cheaper flights. It was the only time where we could fit this event in and also get all the accommodation and all the wonderful activities booked. So I do apologise if that doesn't work with a lot of people's calendars. I do also recommend, following all the emails for all the major airlines, always looking out for those cheap flights and deals and things like that. So it does really range. You can pick yourself up a cheap flight through a promo, or you'll end up paying maybe around $1,000. Yeah, it just really depends.
Beautiful. There are contact details down the bottom of your screen. So Jamie and I both manage our email inbox. So if you do have any questions in the lead up, whether you're still thinking about the trip or you've booked your ticket and you do have any questions, no matter how big or small, Jamie and I will happily get back to you. Otherwise, you can give us a call on the number below. Yeah, you can take payment straight through Register Now. It's a very simple process, but if you'd prefer to chat to Jamie and I, we're happy to take payment over the phone or any queries at all. Otherwise, we might just leave it here. Thank you so much for everyone for coming along and joining tonight. And we really hope to see all of you on our Great Top End Escape come June next year. Thank you so much for coming along.